Hello everybody, hope you're doing really well. I've trekked about 3 hours to get here. I'm really excited. It's quite creepy and eerie. The atmosphere that's bellowing out of it already is quite ominous. I'm at Beech Caves today, which is just shy of Stoke, way up north for a kid from Kent like me. Did that sound right? But we need to explore it and we need to check it out. I've got a very big torch with me today because I wanted to try something a little bit different. Enjoy a little history lesson. There's not much actually on the history of this, but I'll do a little history lesson for you and I'll see you on the other side. Pretty cool, right? Come on then.
Beech Caves, located in the county of Staffordshire, may not be the largest set of man-made caves in England. They do hold a sense of mystery and atmosphere, spanning an area of around 2,400 square metres. They're made of red sandstone formed in the Triassic period. It's because of this certain type of sandstone that it's more likely it started its life as a quarry when, on the 31st of August in 1633, a man named Roger Lowe was paid 22 pence per score to remove 130 feet of stone from the site, as well as records that have been recovered which shows that the new Trentham Hall was constructed from this red sandstone, also in 1633. It wasn't until the 1850s map when it shows the area of the caves as being under the ownership of Thomas Fitzbert, though the caves themselves did not appear to be shown on any map and labelled as a quarry site until 1924, when it was shown for the first time as Beech Caves. It's in the Second World War that the locals of the area claim that the caves were rumoured to have stored ammunition from the nearby factory at Swinnerton, though there are no official records to show this, even though the location would have been a great site for it. The caves are a prime example of the phrase, "if the walls could talk," because they almost have now become a place of rumour and legend, from forming illegal raves in the 1980s through to occult practices. It really is a place that is yet to reveal its secrets.
Right, I hope you enjoyed that mini bit of history. I'm at the sort of side of it to begin with, and I thought I'd sort of walk you around so you get a really big idea of the scale of this place, really. Obviously, as you can see, there's been a lot of graffiti, obviously a lot of raves and everything else going on in there. And the caves themselves, they do go quite far in. But we're going to walk around first, so we got our bearings a little bit better. It's a glorious day today, actually. It's actually a really straightforward journey for me. In my gigging days, I used to spend a lot of time up here, so it wasn't uncommon for me to be in this location, up in sort of Staffordshire way, really. Playing lots of gigs in the Midlands. So yeah, in fact, actually one of my last major gigs was up here, around this area, so yeah, it's not unfamiliar around here for me. But it's one of these places. It's very dark inside, like a labyrinth. Do genuinely hate to think what actually has been going on in this place, but we kind of know because most of the stuff's actually has been well documented in terms of that. Not necessarily the best, but there you go. suppose the question is, I'm going to start from this point and then head back in. I suppose the question is, I'm hoping I'm the only person alone here, because there's quite an intimidating atmosphere in a place like that. I don't know why, it just does. It just feels like one. But yeah, it's beautiful though. Take away the graffiti, it's absolutely beautiful. I can understand why it's a place of lots of people would go exploring, you know. And the scale of the caves are, it's actually huge, really. You know, really hard to tell. But let's take a look. Come on, let's actually go in now. Come on. Right, we're in. The amount of litter is mental, really. It really is just crazy. The amount of graffiti as well. I was expecting graffiti here, but it's like almost everywhere. A bit of a drop, but I think we'll be alright. Right, so that's where we were. We just walked down. I thought it's always good to start at one point, isn't it? And then sort of head down. And then you can see it opens up, you know. The actual site itself is actually very big. It's hard to sort of gauge, but it definitely does sort of this sort of myriad of caves within caves, if that makes sense. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's huge, really. I mean, huge as in like just the actual structures themselves of how large they are. The actual caves themselves. That's obviously where people have been creating bonfires and doing whatever. There's a bit of a sunken depression up there, which leads me to believe that that's probably where the water's starting to seep through. If you can look on the ground as well, I can see a lot of tiling, and there's a lot of tiling around, all around this place on the floor. I'm surprised that not as many people sort of trip up, if that makes sense, but situated on a couple of ledges, so you've got these brick ledges. But the idea was that if it's true what they were saying, there are reports to tell us this, that in World War II it was used as ammunition storage. It's the perfect place to do it. You know, it's literally hiding, and you know, apparently I was saying there's rumours that there was people remembered there being like soldiers outside of the caves themselves, protecting them and guarding them. So I'm not going to drop down, I'm going to walk around, I think. Just easy, really. And then we'll head into the actual part itself, where it sort of gets split up, which is quite cool. But yeah, I wasn't expecting this. As in, like, you know, always a nice surprise when you come to places, but it is dangerous. Right, let's take a look in there properly. So as you can see, the entrance is there, where my car is. And then you can see that's where we were stepping into. So the cave's really inverted near, sort of on this side here. And then there's one there, and then there's one around the corner, as you sort of saw. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's been going on in here. And most of the sad fact is that the colour of the stone really isn't anything pure, in terms of the fact that it's got this really dark charcoal, which actually is fine for me having this torch, but for filming wise it just seems to evaporate the light quite badly. But this is it. Isn't that mental? So it dips down at the back there, if you can see that, and then comes across. This is really where the dangerous area of the caves is, I suppose, because of how low it is. And you can see that people have been digging up the tiles in this place. That's crazy. But it's just got a very dark atmosphere to it. I mean, it really is. It's quite, you know, sort of wasn't expecting it when I sort of came in. Really sort of surreal experience. You do get that feeling as if people are sort of watching you, and yet the caves themselves aren't really, you know, that way inclined. But I mean, like, you know, in terms of they're very open, and you do feel like this presence. What an unusual area. Usual glass bottles smashed. So as you can see, we're not far away from the entrance. And it's quite funny actually, because there's a flickering over there, and you sort of feel like, oh, that's a bit scary, but actually it's just a flickering of the leaves outside, casting shadows. And then this is where we were looking out at. You know, wonder if I can get a better perspective on this. Yeah, there we go. It's a bit better. You can see this bowl-shaped depression. Mental. Keep saying mental. You can see there's a ledge surrounding, and then this cat graffiti. And obviously where people have been, well, God knows what, shall we just sort of say. And even then I don't want to sort of know too much. Really, it's such a shame that our main focus is really the graffiti in this place, and it shouldn't be really. It should be this incredible history. But it is so dark here. You know, it really is. You've got a ledge up there which is now bricked off. And as you walk through, you just genuinely feel like there's a very unusual atmosphere in here. It's really strange. You're exposed, so it shouldn't be bad, and yet I feel like, get that feeling that people are watching me. Never really have that when I go exploring. And yet for some strange reason in this place I just genuinely feel it. I'm not saying it's paranormal, by the way. I'm just saying it's very unusual for me to feel something like that in a place like this. It's not scary, it's just really strange. It's almost like, I just get the feeling people are genuinely watching me. Well, there you go. It's the first. It's finally happened in all my years of exploring that I've gone to a place and I genuinely feel like I'm not alone. Really strange. Again, like I said, I'm not putting that down to paranormal. Definitely not. It's just a very unusual, like, it might be infrasound. Maybe there's a huge amount of infrasound that's here. It's resonating off the sandstone. Who knows? There you go. Now, turn that one off. Really wasn't expecting that. Very strange. We'll walk around the other bit here, because like I said, it's a popular place for a lot of people. But yeah, that was weird in there. That was really weird. Genuinely felt like when I was walking through, like I was like really expecting to see a few people up on the ledge looking in on me. They're just caves, but it's just really odd. The fact that I was feeling that in there. Obviously we know that there was an unfortunate death that had taken place, and they've had raves in there and they've had all sorts. But it was really strange. Nah, you know, you get that first sort of encounter at smell of habitation in there. And what I mean by that is that you get that smell of like urine, damp graffiti and damp bonfire of like burning plastics and stuff. But I didn't really think I'd go in there and feel like, oh, that's a new feeling for me. It feels like people are sort of watching me. How strange. Right. Let's go down. As I stand behind, and now that we've explored it properly, we had a good walk around, didn't we? We had a nice little adventure in, and we had a nice little walk around. I really hope you enjoyed that for what it was worth. Trust me when I say it was massive in there, but it was also quite contained at the same time. But what a strange atmosphere. Really didn't expect that. Thank you as always for watching. In the immortal words of Phoenix History, because history matters, and wow, what a place this is. Hopefully you'll enjoy some future videos coming up, and always stay loyal to the channel, always support it. Feel free to spread the word of the channel. You're always okay to do that with me. But more importantly, because history matters, and wow, doesn't it just? It's an interesting place, it really is. And I'll say no more about it. I'll leave that question mark up in the air about how probably I sort of strangely felt about it. But thank you. Take care everybody, and I'll see you all very soon. Goodbye for now. Kapow.